The sarcomeres are found within the muscle fibrils, the myofibrils, and the myofibrils are found within the muscle fibers. So we're going down into smaller and smaller components of the individual muscle cells. So the sarcomeres are formed by the arrangement of the actin and the myosin, so the myofilaments. So these are created by the way actin and myosin are arranged. Okay, so when we look at this arrangement, I'm going to draw it and then I'll show you a diagram. So we have these ends to our sarcomere, and they are proteins, and we don't need to know their names, but it's called the Z disc. And then what we have are these thin filaments. So I'm going to draw my thin filaments coming out like this. Okay. So the thin filament is the actin. So let me label that maybe a different color. So this is actin, and it is the thin filament. And then let's actually make the thick filament orange to distinguish it. Oops, I mean to make that jag in there. This is my thick filament. And this thick filament has on it these little, what are called heads. So I'm going to draw them on here that are going to be able to bind to the thin filament. The thick filament is the myosin. Okay, so let me use a different color here. Let's use purple. So this would be the thick filament. This is myosin. This is the thick filament. Both of these are proteins. The structure right here that has the head is what is referred to as the myosin heads. And we're going to talk about the sliding filament model of muscle contraction. But in general, I know I forgot to do one of these. In general, what happens is that the myosin heads bind to the actin and they pull the sarcomere, and they shorten the sarcomere. So the sarcomere will actually shorten as the muscle contracts. And then as the muscle relaxes, it lengthens. And then it can actually lengthen more when we stretch the muscle. But if we stretch it too far, then it's going to snap back together because of the elastic nature of the muscle tissue itself. So let's look at a diagram where we see this. So right here, we see this is the thin filaments right here. And then we have the thick filaments. And then we actually have elastic fiber. This is actually a type of fiber that you don't need to know, but it's called titin. And titin is like a spring. And so if I stretch the muscle too much, it's going to want to spring back. And so the muscle will spring back into its proper length if you stretch it too much. So this whole thing right here is the sarcomere, and that is actually what shortens when the muscle contracts. Now there's an enlargement of this figure also that shows this. And so again, the sarcomeres, when the muscle contracts, it causes the sarcomere to shorten and the whole muscle to contract. And so this actually shows two sarcomeres right here. This is where they are relaxed. And this is where this is the relaxed. This is the partially contracted. So this one's the partially contracted. And then this one shows the fully contracted muscle. So that shows how you can contract your muscle a little bit and then contract it even more to create more force in your contraction.